Okay, so the story in Dead Rising 2 really isn't the most like in-depth story, but it's definitely not a bad one. Pretty much you play as Chuck Green, and what happened is pretty much you're framed for the zombie outbreak in Fortune City, and now it's kind of a race against time to kind of like clear your name before the military rolls in and kills you probably for being a terrorist. So throughout the story, you'll uncover a whole bunch of like survivors, a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of psychopaths, and honestly, altogether, the story wasn't the greatest point, but I think that for what it was trying to do, it got the job done. So overall, it wasn't a bad story, but it just wasn't the best one out there.
The sound in Dead Rising 2 is actually pretty nice. As you're walking through the mall, you'll kind of hear the PA system and just the atmosphere of each store. You walk into them, there might be some music playing or something like that. It really feels like you're in a mall environment. And the zombie sounds are pretty good. The voice acting, it's your typical Capcom voice acting. It has a lot of character in it, and it's pretty comedic, which I enjoy. And the zombie sounds, I mean, they sound great. All the weapons that you use, like the chainsaws revving up, they sound crisp and clear and nice. And yeah, the sound's one of the stronger points in the game.
Okay, now the graphics in Dead Rising 2 are okay for what they are, mostly because you have about tens of thousands of zombies on the screen. Okay, not that many, but you get a whole bunch of zombies on the screen, and they're all detailed very nicely. The character models are pretty good for, well, at least most of them. And, I mean, sure, they're not going to be the greatest because there's so many on there, but they're still pretty good. And the environments themselves look a little, like the textures are a little drab, but they still look pretty good. And overall, I thought the graphics were pretty nice. The weapons look good, the character models look pretty good, and environments aren't that bad looking. So yeah, overall, I thought they looked pretty good. So anybody else think differently?
No, I agree with you. I thought the graphics were very well done, personally, for me. But yeah, like you said, they weren't the best. Some of the cutscenes didn't look that great. But yeah, I thought all the zombies looked great. The environments looked nice, and overall, I thought the graphics were pretty solid.
How about you, Junkie? Okay.
Okay, so the gameplay in this game was probably some of the most solid, addicting, fun gameplay I've played in a while. I mean, you have to really be a fan of Dead Rising in order to like it as much as I probably did. I mean, I loved the first one. I spent constant hours on it. I loved it. And this one just built on that, had more variety to it, and overall just had tons of replay value content for me. And overall, I loved every minute. I loved the fact that you could get money, play the slots, customize weapons, save survivors in kind of a more easier fashion than the last one. As well with the psychopaths, I felt that it was all more fluent and very nicely done. And overall, I just thought that the gameplay was very solid for me. So, what do you guys think?
I thought the gameplay was a lot of fun. It didn't get repetitive for the longest time. I played about 35 hours of it, and I just started to get a little bored of it. But I can tell you right now, I love a lot of what's in here, but I also dislike some of the stuff in here, which you probably don't dislike, but for me, I can't stand the time system. And this one, it's much better, so that's okay. But still, I don't like being timed to do missions, but you do have a lot of time to go and just screw around before missions, but I still don't like being pressured to do it now and do it this way fast, so, which didn't sound right, but, I mean, the mission structure is okay, but the just getting timed, I hate. The survivors, like doing the survivors thing, I hate saving survivors in the first game, but I actually like it much better in this one because they're actually smart, which is cool. They'll actually run away from zombies besides go right in the middle of there and just stand there waiting for them to go kill them. So I like that, and the combo weapons are cool. You get a whole bunch of different ones, and you get a whole bunch of different weapons, and you get a pretty big city. Well, city in whatever that city's supposed to be. It's not really a city, but it's pretty big to go roam and shit, and it's really fun. It is lots of fun. So, Junkie, you have anything to put onto that?
I think the game was pretty fun, and I like how it's time based and everything. I like that you're kind of pressured to the moment about everything that you're doing, and I think that's really cool, and they should do it more in video games because I think the whole timing element is like something that's really enjoyable.
Okay, now overall, Dead Rising 2 is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Now, one thing we didn't talk about in the gameplay was the multiplayer. The multiplayer is a lot of fun too. It's more like a kind of like a party game, except really it's just online based. Really, I don't know if you can play split screen, but I'm pretty sure you can, but I'm not really sure. But it's like a whole bunch of mini games, like I don't know, kill zombies this way or just some different way to kill zombies, most likely. And it's a lot of fun. You can also bring that cash that you win in that game to your single player. So just wanted to throw that out there. It's really fun. It's called Terra is Reality, and it's really a lot of fun. And overall, I really liked it. It was very fun. My little concerns, like my little issues, are really just minor, like the time system, and it does get repetitive at times. But still, if you play it for like a couple hours each day or something, you won't get really bored of it. And yeah, what did you think of it?
Well, overall, I thought that this game was just phenomenal. I mean, I've been waiting for this game ever since it was announced, like what, maybe 2 years ago or a year ago, and I have to say it didn't disappoint for me at all. It was everything I was expecting to be, nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. It was just a great game, and honestly, for me personally, it's one of my favorite games of the year. So overall, Dead Rising 2, if I had to give it a score, I would give it a solid 9.75 out of 10. I know that seems high, but I'm just a sucker for these type of games, and I loved every minute of it. So that's how I felt about it.
I give it a 9 point. Actually, I just give it a 9 because I gave it like an 8.9 in my review. But I'll be nice. I'll give it that 9. So yeah, what did you think, Junkie?
Okay, so Dead Rising 2 was overall a pretty enjoyable experience. It was really fun and a lot better. It improved a lot from the first one, in my opinion, at least. I'd recommend it to anyone that's just looking for a fun time, and especially if you like time-based missions, because this is like your game. And like most people don't like time-based mission, but those people are just idiots, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I give Dead Rising 2 an 8 out of 10. So thanks for watching, guys.
Okay, now the graphics in Dead Rising 2 aren't the greatest, but I think they're pretty good for what you get. Mostly because there's about maybe t- tens of thousands of I'm gonna fuck you, alright?
Just keep going.
Okay, now fuck me.